Hey viewers, this is 𝗦𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃. I'm going to discuss an interesting situation in this video. This is related to implementation of risk response plans. This topic could be important in the exam, could be highly tricky in the exam as well, and accordingly you should pay attention and you should listen to this explanation till the end. Let me read out the scenario first and then we will talk about it in detail. The scenario says that during a project progress meeting, a project team member is concerned that one of the risks has triggered several other low-level risks. Interesting. These risks could be responded to quickly, should be responded to quickly, or there will be severe consequences for the project deliverables. What should the risk manager do? This is not really a usual situation in the project that a risk triggers low priority risk, multiple low priority risk in one go, but could be the case. Anything is possible in the real life project management situation. So if a situation like this occurs, what do we do? Let's check the option choices. Update the watch list. B, initiate a risk response when these risks occur. C, address only the high priority risk. And D, perform a risk urgency statement. See, if our risk triggers, and we know what is trigger. Trigger is like an alarm or a notification event that now is the time to apply response plan. And if the trigger condition tells that multiple other risks are now active, low priority risk, then this is even alarming because this is a cascading effect, right? Now this trigger is not only related to the primary risk. The trigger is actually triggering or making other multiple other risks active as well. So this is even important to apply the response plan as soon as possible for the primary risk as well as for the cascaded risk, right? And this is exactly the answer to this situation, but let's check that one by one. Update the watch list. Watch list may or may not be updated in this case because as the primary risk, by primary risk, I mean the main risk which is being considered over here. As the principal risk has triggered several other low-level risks already, then most likely the low-level risks are not they are not staying at low priority level anymore for obvious reason because they are not triggered. So they are not low priority anymore and they accordingly would be moved from the watch list to the risk register and accordingly the watch list would be updated. However, this is not the answer to this situation. The answer is something different. It's more than just updating the watch list or the risk register, right? So A, although it's going to be one action, possible action in this situation, but that's not the expectation of this scenario, right? Because they are not really asking what's the first thing to do kind of thing. What they are asking about what's the best or the most likely situation to do to take care of this situation we are facing. So A is out. B, initiate a risk response when these risks occur. No, not really, because these are multiple low priority risks which has been triggered by a medium or high priority risk, right? If multiple low priority risk has been occurred, then you cannot really wait them to be like to be converted into issue or a missed opportunity for the risk response to be applied as a corrective action or as a reactive action. No, not really. This is exactly what is not the answer to this situation. The answer is the opposite of it. Like, be urgent about this situation because of the impact. We have to take care of the impact as well, that these multiple risks, low priority risks, should be responded quickly, right? Else there will be consequences to the project objectives, right? So the impact is huge, and accordingly, these risks are not low priority risk anymore, right? So, or maybe they are low priority risk at their individual level, but as they are collectively being triggered, so maybe collectively their impact on the project objective is severe. And accordingly, it is a necessity to respond to them as quickly as possible. Right. So you cannot be laid back in this regard. Right. You cannot wait to see them becoming issues or missed opportunity, and then you are going to take action. This, but by that time, the project is already will already be at stake. Right? So B is not at all the right action step. B is actually talking about dealing with the accept strategy, which will not help over here. They are actually asking about being proactive in this regard, like mitigate or ideally avoid kind of situation in case of threat. Right. So because the consequence is negative in nature, so most likely we are dealing with threats over here, not opportunities. C, address only the high priority risk. In the normal risk management scenario, yes, we actually get to the point of priority for exactly the same reason, so that high priority risks are dealt with respect to the low priority risk or medium priority risk as a priority, right? This is exactly the point of having priorities. So addressing only the high priority risk in general situation, yes, this makes sense. But in this situation, we have a different context. So our risk, which has triggered multiple risks and is being a problem to the project objectives, those risks has to be stopped or slowed down to safeguard the project objectives and project benefits and project deliverables. So in this case, if you are going to be focused only on the high priorities risk, then you are going to damage the project objectives. So C is not going to be the best thing to do in this situation. D is the best thing to do in this situation. Perform a risk urgency statement. Now, what is urgency? What is the urgency attribute in risk management? Urgency talks about like what is the timeline you have when you get to know about a risk trigger and when you apply the risk action, that timeline in between. And if it is an urgent situation like a situation we are facing over here, then the timeline has to be as narrow as possible, which means the urgency is high. When you get to know about a risk trigger and when you get to know that now is the time to apply this response, as it's going to be too late, you are dealing with an urgent situation. For example, when you are sitting in the exam, multiple risk may occur which requires urgent response. For instance, you are dealing with time management issue in the exam, right? And you have that 3-hour window only. 2.5-hour window only in the exam. And whatever action you have to take in that window, else there's no point of dealing with that situation. So it's an urgent situation with respect to time management. It's an urgent situation with respect to marking all the questions in time, right? So urgency means how quickly you can tackle the situation to control the risk before it becomes an issue or a problematic situation in the project. Right? And over here, you are not supposed to be dealing with the principal risk only. You are supposed to be dealing with the cascaded risk as well, because those have been triggered as well. Right? So those risks as well as the principal risk and in an urgent manner is exactly the expectation over here. But I hope you like this explanation. D is the correct answer. If you have any follow-up query, please leave your comment in the chat area or directly connect with me on any of the communication channels mentioned in front of you. Please do not forget to like this video. Do not forget to follow our channel and stay tuned to get to know about more useful content that we post on a weekly basis. I will be back very soon with a new RMP scenario. Till then, take care. Goodbye.